So good morning, everybody. This should be a happy morning, but I think it's a sad morning because all of you now will be saying goodbye to Zhuangyan Monastery, goodbye to the many friends that you made here. When I gave my talk on the first day, I said that as we study and practice here, we're in the process of becoming Buddha, becoming very big Buddha, bigger than this Buddha. After 4 days, has anybody become bigger than this Buddha? If you have, raise your hand. Great, wonderful. I am very little, like the 10,000 little Buddhas around the big Buddha. So I have to sit around you. Okay, you might think, now I'm going home so I can forget all of the Buddhism that I learned during these few days at Zhuangyan Monastery. That shouldn't be the case at all. Because the practice of learning Buddhism at the monastery is to learn how to live your everyday life. Dharma and everyday life, not two separate domains. Where Dharma is in the monastery, everyday life is apart from Dharma. But Dharma teaches us how to live a happy, peaceful, and meaningful life. A life that will be truly beneficial to ourselves, truly beneficial to others. And the way to lead a meaningful, happy life depends on the mind. And when you leave here, do you leave your mind behind in the monastery? Who thinks you leave the mind behind when you leave the monastery? If you do, then you can give me your mind, so I will have 2 minds, 3 minds. I'll put them in a drawer in my room and keep your minds here till next year. When you come back next year, I'll give you your mind back. But it's not like that. Wherever you go, you take your mind with you, and your mind is the key to practicing the Dharma. Practicing the Dharma is the key to developing your mind. And it's by developing your mind, eliminating what we call the dark states, and cultivating the bright, wholesome states, that we can find happiness for ourselves and be a source of happiness for others. Now I have some very important words to say. Please listen carefully, especially the older campers, counselors. I came to Zhuangyan Monastery in the year 2007. It's 2017 now, 10 years later. In these 10 years, I've seen virtually the people who were in the leadership positions of Zhuangyan in 2007, or Baos, the people who are in the leadership positions of Baos now, 2017, the same people. And we are all getting older. None of us is getting younger. As time goes by, we will be saying bye-bye, passing on from this life to the next life, from this world to another world. If we don't have younger people coming in to active roles in Baos, in active roles and leadership roles in the future, we could close the doors of the great Buddha Hall and say goodbye to Zhuangyan Monastery, goodbye to Baos. We need younger people to be coming in and playing active roles and eventually taking over leadership roles. I wrote about this in the preface, the foreword to the handbook, which everybody received. You should read that message, but maybe I'll repeat a few key sentences. I say, don't think that Zhuangyan Monastery can thrive without fresh talent, fresh energy and fresh ideas. We need all the talent, energy, and new ideas we can get. So those who live in the greater New York area should participate in more activities at the monastery or in the Bronx Temple, the Temple of Enlightenment. You can attend classes and retreats to deepen your knowledge of the teachings of Buddhism. You can volunteer to help with activities, and you should be ready to take on gradually a greater share of responsibilities for the future of Baos. It's you in the younger generation who will be responsible for seeing that Baos provides the light of Dharma for generations still to come. Now, if you want to participate more actively in the activities of Baos and of the monastery, we have a little club for people who have that intention. The club is called the Bodhi Friends Association. The people who are in charge of Bodhi Friends is Mr. Tsuku Lee. Please stand up. Don't just raise your hands. Stand up so people can see you clearly. And Wayne Chung. And they have you see Mr. Lee is holding a pad and pen in his hand. That pad and pen is for people who want to join the Bodhi Friends. They will become like associate members of Baos and of Zhuangyan Monastery so that they get more information about events here, and eventually they can become full members of Baos and in that way take on more active role in the organization. So please, especially the older counselors, the coordinators, older volunteers, please see either Tsuku or Wayne and put your name and contact information on that sheet of paper. Thank you.